You're welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching Business Morning, coming to you from Yanagua in Bayelsa State. Of course, it is the first Bayelsa State Investment Forum that is going on in the state capital, and a whole lot of events have been lined up to ensure that investors get the very best out of the state. Right now, we're being joined on the program by Cyril Akika. He is the special advisor to Governor Siraki Dixon on investments. Thank you, Cyril, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Maya.
I'm sure, I understand you're the brain behind all of this going on in Bayelsa State. You're the one advising the governor on what to do. But what actually gave birth to this forum? What did you consider as a team here in Bayelsa State?
Well, the governor has a very clear vision of what and how he wants Bayelsa to transform. And before now, everybody knows and has seen Bayelsa as a state that is largely a civil service state, one that is clearly based on government expenditure as the enabler of the economy. And the governor realizes and says, he doesn't see this as sustainable. Now, because he doesn't see this as sustainable, the only way to transform the economy of the state is to diversify the state. And he says, to do that, we must invite and bring the private sector to come and champion this cause. Now, how do you get the private sector into the economy of the state? The first way is actually to take the state to the private sector in wherever they are located, and then create a forum where you can gather as much number of potential willing investors to one particular location within the state and talk to all of them together and have them also tell you what their needs would be to enable them participate in the economy of the state. So that generally is the genesis of why we are having this maiden forum on investment taking place now.
All right, I know that there are a whole lot of issues that you would want to address on the show. We hope that we have the time to cover them. Now, I know that there is a plan to build a new airport. The governor was speaking yesterday that it's going to be built at Wilberforce Island and expected to be completed by 2015.
Yes.
What are you going to do in terms of funding? Because this is a very massive project you want to embark upon. How do you want to generate funding for these projects?
Well, ordinarily now, just like my colleague before me had said, we have invited partners to come work with us on a PPP basis to develop the airport. But whilst those discussions are ongoing, as a state, we have encouraged one of our subsidiary companies of the BDIC to obtain debt capital to continue with the work of the airport. Because it's all about timing. And because we have a set time where we intend for the airport to be up and running, whilst we are doing those discussions, work must go on. For work to go on, it has to be paid. Now, we have supported a subsidiary of the BDIC to obtain debt capital to continue that process. Now, whilst the discussions we are having with partners on PPP basis come into force, we would have equities from those partners that would help us to reduce the debts that have been borrowed by those subsidiary companies. So as of now, we are funding the project using debt obtained by the companies, and we will then further on reduce those debts with equities that come from our partners in funding the project.
What is the level of interest rate that you're willing to give investors who buy your debts?
It's not us that will give the rates. Right now, we borrow from financial institutions. So those monies that you have borrowed is what you have to pay back. However, because of all of the plans we have as a state, which we already have started implementing, we know that the airport will be a viable airport. Because it will be viable, any partner that partners with us would expect to have minimum 2-digit returns on his investments. If he's getting tourism returns on his investments, then the business itself will be able to pay down on any debt that has been borrowed on it. Because we have the intention also, as the airport is being built, to partner with an international airline company to have that airport serve as its hub. You know, just like you have Lagos as a hub, you have Abuja as a hub for some airlines. We intend to talk to one or two to have Bayelsa as its hub.
Okay, I understand that there are some MOUs that have been signed by the state government. Can you tell us more about this?
Okay. Within this conference, we actually will be signing the brass fertilizer project. We'll sign an agreement on the brass fertilizer project. Our share of that particular project, because it's a massive project, our share in that project will be about 20%. The project itself would cost $3.5 billion, covering 3 different aspects within that project. You have ammonia, you have urea, you have methanol, and then you also have a gas conversion aspect of the project. So we will be having 20% to cover our stake in the project and also the community's stake within that project. So you have the brass fertilizer project. We would also be signing an agreement on another project involving a gas terminal with BP and Bana Energy. We'll be signing another agreement with the group from Russia, Gazprom, to develop a gas master plan for Bayelsa State.
I'll ask you, because that was very key in terms of what Governor Sereke Dixon talked about, that is a gas master plan is going to be developed for the state. And I want to believe that it's not just going to be for Bayelsa. It's going to cover some Niger Delta region?
No. For this, we are focusing only on Bayelsa, because our intention is to develop Bayelsa and make it a model, which other states can also now use as a leading light to say, okay, these things can actually work in Nigeria. If they're working in Bayelsa, they can work anywhere else. So our focus is first, let's handle and make Bayelsa that location for investment. So this master plan will cover just for only Bayelsa. So you have that. We have agreements also we will be signing in power. We'll be signing some agreements with Proton Energy. It's a company that they have their foothold here and also in America. They intend to partner us to produce 500 megawatts of power. So we have them, we'll be signing that agreement. We'll be signing an agreement also in agriculture, and we'll be signing an agreement in industry. But the prime project or the prime agreement we'll be signing within this conference would be the setting up of an SME fund. That fund, we intend to put together a fund with a capacity of 20 billion naira to support the growth of SME development. And the growth of the development will be in businesses in certain areas that we feel our people will have interest and capacity to participate in. So you'll be talking about things, businesses in agriculture, to support the large commercial agricultural projects we have as a business, and then you have other support areas. So those kind of things you would see happen during the conference.
Okay, I want to believe that Bayelsa State will also be working with the federal government to actualize some of these projects that you've highlighted. So what assistance do you want the federal government, the government at the center, to give to Bayelsa State government?
Okay, now for most of these businesses, clearly certain licenses will be required. So we will step up to the federal government, request and make applications for those licenses to be approved. We will also, because the laws of our country with regards to investment still maintain certain rights at the federal government level for concessions. We will go to the federal government also to ask for concessions on behalf of these businesses. Maybe give some of them pioneer status so they could enjoy tax rebates for the next 5 years, or we could get free zone approvals, so we have businesses within that free zone enjoy the benefits and waivers that come with operating within a free zone. You know, so those kind of concessions we will go. And just like the federal government also is supporting the deep sea port in Lagos, we also will go with our deep sea port project.
That's the Agge Seaport?
That's the Agge deep sea port project. We'll go with that project also to the federal government and say, well, the same way you ordinarily will support a project that will transform the economy of Nigeria, we also, as a state, have also come to the federal government to seek this support. You know, so we will go to them for support. And I know that the federal government has intervention agencies that support different programs. You know, you have the Sovereign Wealth Authority, Investment Authority. You have the central bank that support specific projects, either in healthcare or in aviation. We will go to them for support in all of these areas.
All right, I think at this point I'll have to let you go. Thank you. That'll be all we can take from you. Cyril Akika is the special advisor to Governor Sereke Dixon on investment. And he said a whole lot as to what the administration of Governor Sereke Dixon is doing to help to promote Bayelsa State, develop the economic activities. We've talked about the seaports development. Infrastructure is key to any economic development, whether at the local, state, or the federal level. There's also the plan to develop an international airport here in Bayelsa, and it's expected to be completed by the end of 2015. Incentives are here for investors who want to take advantage of the many possibilities, of many potentials of growth that are in the states. And on this note, we'll wrap up Business Morning. We do appreciate your time with us. Don't forget, we are covering the first Bayelsa State Investment Forum that is ongoing here in Yenagoa. Just a reminder of viewers that the Vice President, Architect Namadi Sambo, is expected to go around the state and look at what the government of Governor Sereke Dixon is doing to help improve the lives of Bayelsans and, of course, improve the standard of living as well. That'll be all we can take on the program. We do appreciate the time with us once again. I am Bolaji Akinwale.